Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, Real Live with the Real Secrets of Money with your host, myself, Damon J. Brockenberry, the extraordinary and CEO of the DTA and Associates. And that's also Damon the agent. I want to thank you all for joining me this October 31st, 2025. Happy Halloween. Ooh, to everyone out there. I hope you all have a good time tonight, and I hope that you'll stay and that you all are safe out there as you're trick-or-treating, going to parties, or you have your kids and you're taking your kids or your grandkids trick-or-treating. Well, as always, let me jump into the wonderful world of real estate. I had something right there. Jump into the wonderful world of real estate and talk about, should you buy and sell during the holiday? Should you buy or sell during the holidays? Now, this is very good because I know a lot of people are wondering, especially when we go into November, when we start to go into Thanksgiving, then we have Christmas, then we have the New Year, and then it's also the winter months. So some people are like, oh, I don't want to go out there. I don't want to sell and put my house on the market because I don't want a lot of traffic coming through. And then some people say, oh, I don't want to go buy because I want to see house when during the daytime and it's going to get dark soon, because as we know, this weekend is fall back, daylight savings time. So you have to fall back an extra hour. So I'm going to talk real quick to the buyers. Okay. Now, here are some good reasons why you should buy during the holiday seasons. Number one, sellers are often more flexible. And what I mean by this is some sellers want to close quickly before the new year, which can mean better deals or concessions for the buyers, meaning you can negotiate the prices, you can negotiate closing calls, all types of incentives, negotiate buying your interest rate down, because a lot of sellers are flexible during the holiday season. Number two, there's less competition. Like I just mentioned, because it is the winter time, a lot of people like to go look at houses between March and September. When the days are longer, it's warmer outside, people tend to look more so then. But when the days become darker quicker and it's cold outside, people want to stay inside where it's warm. But you can get a great deal by looking when it's less competition. Many buyers pause their search during the holidays, so there's fewer bidding wars. Number three, end of year interest rate opportunities. And this means lenders sometimes offer incentives to meet year end goals. Okay. Number four, you'll see the home in its real condition, meaning because it's cold, the bones, winter viewings reveal how well a home handles insulation, heating, and drainage. Things are often hidden in the summertime. Yes, true. So let me talk to the sellers real quick. The sellers, here are reasons why you should sell your house during the holiday season. Number one, less competition, more serious buyers, meaning fewer listings pop up because, like I also mentioned, a lot of times people don't want people going through their home during the winter month, opening and closing that door with all that cold air coming in and out. Some people feel like, oh, that's going to run my electricity bill up. Plus, when you put your house on the market, open houses, people come in. So fewer listings mean your home stands out. Buyers shopping in November, December are often highly motivated because of job locations, life changes, and sometimes they're trying to get an end of the year incentive when it pertains to taxes. Number two, homes look more inviting during the holidays. Tasteful seasoning decoration can help buyers emotionally connect to the space and the home. Curb appeal pops out with the lighting, wreath, and cozy indoor vibes. This all seems homey and cozy to a lot of people who are looking to buy. Number three, year-end financial motivation. Some buyers are looking to close before year ends for tax reasons or to lock in current interest rate, as I just mentioned. Number four, flexible buyers and relocation market. Now, we do have a government shutdown right now, but in most cases, many government and corporate relocations happen in the fourth quarter of the year and in the early quarters of the beginning of the year, creating a pool of ready, willing, and able buyers. So Those are the reasons why during the holiday season, it is a good idea to buy or sell your house. All right. I'll be right back with my house of the week. All right. All right. Thank you for joining me. Let me go into my Q&A, which is the house of the week right now. I'm sorry, not the house of the week, my Q&A, which is my questions and answers. I do apologize. Q&A, questions and answers. And if you have any questions that you would like for me to answer on here, please feel free to send them to me by any means, text, emails, however, DM on social media. So here are the questions, and let me begin. The first question is a HELOC a second mortgage? Is a HELOC a second mortgage? And for those of you who don't know what a HELOC is a home equity line of credit. It is when a homeowner has equity in their home that they've built up. So they want to actually pull the equity, which means pull the money that they built up to use it for whatever purposes. So is a HELOC a second mortgage? Okay. Now, a HELOC is considered a second mortgage because it's considered a second lien. You do have to make payments toward whatever equity that you do take out. But with a HELOC, you tend to pay less for your monthly payments than if you were actually to refinance. The difference with a HELOC and refinancing is refinancing resets your mortgage, meaning if you've been in your home for 10 years, that means you may have 20 years left on the mortgage. If you do a refinance, you're resetting it to 30 years. Yes, your mortgage payments will be lower, okay? And they always give you the opportunity to take cash out, but they also are charging you closing costs. And see, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Those are hidden costs when you refinance. You're paying closing costs again, which is normally anywhere from 4 to 6%. Okay, so let's say hypothetically, if it's 300,000, 6% of 300,000 would be what? Is that 18,000? Yeah, 18,000. 18,000 closing cost. They'll sometimes say, "Oh yeah, you can take out 50,000," and because you want that money, you're thinking more about the 50,000. You're not thinking about the closing costs that you're paying, and you're also not thinking about that you're resetting your loan. So before you had 20 years to pay it off, now you got to reset to 30 years. Okay, all right. So here's another question: what's the difference between a conventional and FHA loans and their rates? What's the difference between the conventional and FHA loans and their rates? Okay, let me explain what this is. A FHA loan is a Federal Housing Administration loan, which is normally funded by the government. And that is designed so home buyers will pay less on their down payment. So with an FHA loan, you're only required to pay 3.5% of the purchase price. That's all you have to pay with an FHA loan. And because it is a government required loan, there's a higher restriction as far as guidelines to meet in order to go to closing. For example, if the house is a foreclosed property, you cannot get a regular FHA loan. You have to get an FHA 203K loan. And a 203K loan is a rehab renovation loan to help borrowers to fix up the house prior to them moving in. With an FHA loan, the house must be already moved in ready before you can go to settlement. A conventional loan, you have to put more money down. And because you have to put more money down, there's less restrictions compared to the FHA. Meaning, for example, you can purchase a home with a conventional loan that's a foreclosed property. It doesn't have to be fixed up before you go to settlement. Now, like I said, you do have to put more money down. And normally the typical requirement for a conventional loan is 10% with your first purchase of a home. If you have more than one home, if you still decide to use a conventional loan, they will make you put 20% down or more because they always consider you having one of those two property as an investment property. And we all know that the government is trying to get money one way or another. So they make you put a higher amount down if you have more than one home using a conventional loan. But like I said, the average is 10% down with a conventional loan. There are programs that you can use a conventional loan and you can put down as low as 3%. And in many cases, 5%, but you will always have to speak with a reputable lender when it pertains to that. And as far as the interest rate on it, interest rate is always going to vary depending on the borrower's credit score. Nobody is the same. So for example, what my interest rate is will be different from yours, even if we have the same credit score. Because here's the thing, they always factor in debt to income ratio as well. But again, like I mentioned, it is best to always speak with a reputable lender in order to get the fine detail and to get the accurate amount. If you always need a reputable one, please reach out to me because I work with several. Okay. The next question is, what is a USDA loan, and is the loan available in the DMV? What is a USDA loan, and is the loan available in the DMV? Okay, now let me explain this. A USDA loan is available in the DMV, but it's mainly on the 301 corridor, like Upper Marlboro headed towards Brandywine. There's a certain spots when it pertains to the USDA loan. But let me break down what a USDA loan is. A USDA loan are zero down payment mortgages for eligible borrowers that have been given by the Department of Agriculture. So the U.S. in the USDA loan is the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So a lot of times the agricultural loans that are given out are in rural areas. And in the DMV area, like I said, there's spots off of 301 in Upper Marlboro heading down towards Brandywine. And there are other areas as well in Virginia. These areas have to be designed more so for zero down, and also they're by the Department of Agriculture. Now, let me explain a little bit real quick. Let me see. These are the most common types of private lenders. Purpose: to help low and moderate individuals buy, build, or renovate homes in eligible areas. And the limit: the household income cannot exceed 115% of the area's median income. So yes, there are USDA loans available, and they are in the DMV. But again, when you speak with a reputable lender, they can actually tell you all of the specific areas. The next question: how do you become underwater on your home loan? How do you become underwater on your home loan? Okay, that's a great question. And underwater basically means that you owe more on your house than it's actually worth, and it is considered a short sale. That's another term for short sale. And the thing about it is, though, is when it's a short sale status, when a homeowner owes more on the home than it's worth, that's when it's underwater. And in many cases, let me give you an example. Let's say hypothetically you owe $500,000, but the homes in your area are selling for $450,000. Or let's say the home, when you bought it for $400,000, but you kept refinancing, or you kept taking the equity out of it. And now if you try to sell, like based off your equity and also based off the interest and everything that you have to pay, you can't afford to sell a house because you're upside down, you're underwater. So basically what it means is it means you're drowning, you're upside down. So it's a short sale. It's a short sale when you're trying to sell your home. So that's what being underwater means. Okay, the next question: what happens if you never pull the equity from your home? What happens if you never pull the equity from your home? Well, if you never pull the equity from your home, what's going to happen is you're going to get a lot of mailings from people who are going to be telling you you can refinance, you can do a HELOC, which I just mentioned, and that they're going to try to persist you and let you know about all the equity that you have in your home. And if you don't sell your house, then the equity is just sitting there. So that's why some people who have equity in their home, they can actually start a business, use their house as collateral. So when you, like I mentioned before, whenever you're filling out an application, it always asks you, do you own or do you rent? And the reason why I ask this question is because if you own and they plug in your information and they tack it to, let's say, a mortgage and they or a deed and it has your name, your approval rating goes up significantly just by owning a home, whether you pull the equity out or not. So if you never pull the equity out of your home, that means you never tap into the financial resources of your home. Now, we all know people like Donald Trump has used real estate to become rich. People use real estate when they have equity. A lot of people pull that equity out. They start businesses. They pay off things by getting a HELOC or a home equity line of credit. So what I'm saying to you is, if you never pull equity out of your home, then you're not tapping into the resources that you have available to you. For those people who have equity in their home, what I would suggest to you to do, and it might be a little harder right now because of the government shutdown, but I would suggest you to go and try to get a home equity line of credit and to never use it, because it's better to have something and not need it than to need something and not have it. Meaning you can have a bank for yourself if you have, let's say, 100,000 or more in your home. Now, understand, if you do a home equity line of credit, they're only going to approve you up to 80% of your equity. So if you got, let's say, 100,000, let me use that for the sake of being clear. If you have 100,000, they're only going to allow you to get up to 80,000. Okay, they want to make sure that you don't max out. So I would strongly suggest, if a person has never used or pulled their home equity line of credit, to go apply for a home equity line of credit and just don't use it. But if something happens like what's going on with SNAP, what's going on with the government shutdown, then you have the resources right there available. And being a homeowner, that's one of the benefits of being a homeowner. And then the final question is, does land grow equity the same as a house? Does land grow equity the same as a house? And the answer to that is no. Most land is cheaper than homes. If you ever notice, you'll see land costs as cheap as 10,000 in certain areas, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. But 9 times out of 10, a house can be built on that land that increases the value significantly. So let's say you get a land for, I'm gonna use my example. I have a land for sale in Sandy Spring, 450,000. It's currently under contract, but the house that's going to be built on it is going to be worth over $1 million. So what I'm saying to you is, land equity never grows at the same as a home, because a home already has the value. The land, you have to make use of it. So the answer to that is no. All right. So let me do my real quick home of the week. Okay. And this home of the week is, this is a townhouse in Crofton. All right. Let me put it up real quick for you all. All right. This property is in Crofton, priced at exactly $400,000. This is a 3-bedroom, 3-level townhouse with 2.5 baths. It has been well maintained and taken care of. That is in Crofton, Maryland. There are incentives with this home. Gas stove, chandelier. It has a deck. It also has a skylight and a sky view in the bathroom with this tub. Marble flooring, hardwood floors. Nice porch underneath, in a great community in Crofton, Maryland. If you are interested in this property, please reach out to me so I can help you to make that your home going into the new year. And you can write it off for your taxes and celebrate during the season. You can have a Christmas party and also a holiday party all at the same time. All right. I'll be right back with my topic of the week. All right. I forgot to say this at the beginning, but please follow me on all social media platforms. I am on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Snapchat, TikTok, and YouTube, and Pinterest. All right. Please follow me on all social media platforms. All right. Now, my topic of today, or of the week, is trying times. In other words, tough times don't last, tough people do. Listen, y'all, right now, we have a government shutdown going on. We have situations where people are not going to receive their SNAP or food stamp benefits. We have people losing their jobs because Amazon and all these big companies have laid off people. And I know it's hard. It's harder to say. I mean, I'm sorry. It's easier to say and harder to do. But tough times don't last, people. You know, I think a lot of times in this country, we are just so spoiled because we had a taste of the good life, meaning we didn't have things easy. We didn't have things easier than our grandparents, our great grandparents. But they went through tough times and they survived. But the sad part in reality is some people act like they're not supposed to ever engage tough time. Like, oh no, that's not supposed to happen to me. But here's what they fail to realize: life is going to happen to you. It happens to everyone. Just like you endure pain sometimes for no reason. You can split your nails and be in pain. You can bump your knee and be in pain. You can hit your foot and be in pain. See, the point that I'm trying to make is people act like pain is not supposed to come to them, but it does come. It's how you endure the pain, because we're all going to feel some type of pain in this lifetime. And what I mean by that also in the form of, as times become rough, it's not the time to point fingers. It's not the time to not be there for the people closest to you. It's the time to be closer together. It's the time to appreciate things. Because when you look at movies, when you look at everything, people go through things. And it is during those moments that builds the history, that builds the relationship, that builds the character. These things help to develop who you are. And a lot of times when you go through things, you see who people really are. You see people ain't really your friends, ain't really your family, didn't really care for you because they had selfish hidden agendas. And during times like the hardship that's going on in the world today, when you go through these things, it's really to expose those who are around you. Because like I said, tough times don't last. Tough people do. You're going to always have good times, but you're going to also have bad times. There are going to be moments when you're up, but there are going to be moments when you're down. But the problem is people act like they're never supposed to be down. But here's the reality is, people in your family were down before. People in your family struggled before. People in your family were broke before. The problem is we're so spoiled these days because we got a little taste of money. We got a little taste of the good life and everything. So you act like, oh, I ain't supposed to do that. And here's the thing. Nobody wants to go back to suffering in any type of way or capacity or form. But here's the thing. If you can't deal with those situations, then to be honest with you, you don't deserve a good situation, because life is going to test everybody. And the problem with some people is they're so delusional. They think like they ain't supposed to go through nothing. Oh no, that ain't supposed to happen to me. That ain't supposed to happen. But here's the thing. We go through things to learn from it. Just like when you were a baby, you learn how to walk by crawling. And then when you crawl and you got up, you fell. You fell many times before you learn how to walk. And then once you learn how to walk, you learn how to run. And what I'm saying to you is the same thing in life. You go through things, you're going to fail. Things are going to happen, but you're supposed to keep moving. So you're supposed to persevere regardless and everything. You know, you're supposed to always keep moving, you know, regardless of anything, you know, regardless of anything. So all I want to say is, when you're going through life, please, please, please understand tough times come, but tough times will go. Everything that's down will not always remain down. And I just want to say a quote from the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King when he said, keep going. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving. And I say that to everyone also. By all means, keep going. Yes, things get tough. Yes, things are hard, because we're so used to things being a certain way and we don't want to adjust. See, people don't like change. And that's the thing. Change is what bothers people so much. They want things to be the same. That's why people are content. But here's the thing. Your greatest blessings, your greatest success comes from change. It comes when your back is against the wall. It comes when you do things and you don't even know why you did things. It comes when the least expecting happens. And what I'm saying to you is, during these hard times, be there for the people closest to you. Be respectful, be mindful, be caring, be loving, and most of all, be appreciative and thank God for every day that you wake up, and every day that you have your sanity, and every day that you have your health. Because here's the thing, no matter how much money you have, no matter how big of a house you may live in, without your sanity and your health, all that is meaningless. You can't enjoy it. But here's the thing, while you have your health and your sanity, you know what you can enjoy? The people around you. Because when you go through things, the memories that you create is more important than the money that's in your bank account or the house that you live in. And all I'm going to say is tough times don't last, but tough people do. And tough times also expose those people who ain't really supposed to be there for you. This is life. Life is going to always life. You're going to always be life. There's going to always be ups and downs. How you deal with it is going to be the dictation and the author of your story and your history, because everything happens to people. Everybody who's successful went through tough times. A lot of people who are millionaires and billionaires went through tough times. But guess what? It didn't last. So while you're going through this tough time called life right now, when the government shut down and stuff, guess what? That ain't the time to complain, argue, ridicule, point fingers. It's the time to say, God, thank you. What am I supposed to learn right now? What am I supposed to be doing right now? Because there's always a silver lining in the storm. And that's what I wanted to say. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. These are just trying times, but this too shall pass. I will be right back with my recap. All right. So real quick with my recap, like I said, is it a good time to buy and sell during the holidays? Absolutely. And the reason it's a good time to do it during the holidays is because you benefit in so many ways. Hey, you can either rewind this to the beginning when I said it on YouTube, or you can reach out to me at DamonSellsDMV.com, or you can call me at 240-694-6460. But before I go, let me give you my commercial. Y'all know I'll be liking this.
We sure could use the money.
Time for some upgrades. We're pregnant.
Oh my goodness, I need to downsize.
We buy houses for cash as is.
Damon the Agent. A name you can trust. A name you can trust. So, with that being said, recap again. Hey, tough times don't last. Tough people do. People, be close to the people who are close to you. Appreciate them, love them, and thank God for them. And thank God for your sanity and your health, because no matter what you go through, it won't last. And thank you. Don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms, and I'll see you. This is Happy Halloween. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun. See you all next week, next month. Talk to you soon.